What's up, everybody? Welcome to Human Innovation Tarot. My name is Eddie with the Imagine Life Development Center, here to do the October bonus love reading for my Aries out there. If you're new to my channel, I would greatly appreciate it if you would click the like, share, and subscribe button for me. All the other information you need to know is in the description box below. You can click the bell notification icon and be notified when I go live. You can come join me for a free live tarot reading. So, Aries, we're going to do a little bonus love reading here for you. We're going to start off the reading by taking a look at your overall energy. Then we'll jump into the core energy of your reading. Now, if this reading doesn't resonate for you, you can check out the the October love reading, which is separate from this. It'll be in the playlist there. So you may find something there that does resonate for you. And don't forget to check out the 10/10 portal reading that just happened. But that reading, the energy of that reading pertains to the rest of the year. Okay, so it's really almost like from a 10/10 date to the end of year reading. So whenever you find that reading, doesn't matter if it's December 31st, that energy is still live, I should say. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. And let's see where you guys are at. Let's see what's coming up, what's going on, all the things. All right, so right off the bat, we have the Thinking Woman, which in this Oracle deck is like a Queen of Swords type of vibe. So, you could be thinking about a lot of things. You could be overthinking things right now, or this could be somebody else. If it's not you, reverse the roles, could be somebody else. So just kind of think of this almost like as a Queen of Swords energy. All right. It could potentially, even though it's not tarot, it could mean that you're dealing with somebody who's got Libra, Gemini, Aquarius energy. But really, I think this right now is just indicating that you're more in a headspace right now. And if it's not you, it's somebody else, okay? So just a lot of mental energy, or somebody who is more prone to, thinking versus feeling. And that's not always a bad thing, as long as it doesn't get out of control or out of balance. The next card we have out is TikTok. So this card is a card of timing. Now, on one hand, the energy of this card is encourages us to embrace perfect timing, that all things happen in their due time, and we don't have to force things to happen. Now, another energy associated with this is one of there is timing in the sense of we don't want to miss opportunities. Like, there are certain seasons in life, certain blessings, certain manifestations, or certain things that show up. And if you don't jump on it in time, then you miss out on it, right? Like a job, right? Let's say there's a job opening and it's your dream job. And you're like, oh man, I've been waiting for that position to open up. And you put it off. Well, then somebody else gets hired and you're like, what happened to that job? I really, wanted that job, but you put it off and you didn't apply. So somebody else got it. Right. Or maybe it's something else. Maybe there was something you wanted to buy. Your dream house came on the market and you're like, all right, I'm going to put an offer in, but you didn't. So somebody else buys it, or there was something at a store. You kept driving by it every day and it's like, I really should go in there. I really want to get that, and then, so one day you're finally like, all right, I'm going to stop today. You stop at the store, you go in and it's gone. And you're like, oh, what happened to that thing? And the person's like, man, yeah, that got bought yesterday. And you're like, dang it, I can't believe that I didn't buy it when I had the chance to get it. So that could be either or. It's either trust the timing of the universe, all things happen in perfect timing, or it could be telling you guys not to waste time, to take action, because you might miss an opportunity, okay? So, take it as it resonates, or how it may or may not apply to your situation. So let's take a look here at the next energy we have. Okay, this card is called Plunge. Don't hold back. It's time. Go for it and dive in. So there it is. Everything I just said about the timing card. So we just clarified now which of those two energies we're dealing with. So this isn't a sit back, wait, things will happen in perfect time. It's time to take action and grab hold of the opportunity. It's time to dive in. So now we know that this is encouraging action taking versus waiting. So let's take a look and see what else wants to come out here. I'm going to pull a few cards here from this deck. Okay, so we have message. So the first card out here, and this could be maybe from this person, maybe not. It doesn't have to apply, but it is coming out on top of the thinking woman energy. Now we have 7 and we have 47. Well, 4 plus 7 is 11, which is a master number. So you may hear, maybe you're going to receive a message between now and November 7th, which is Scorpio season. So between now and 11/7, maybe you're going to receive a message from this person, or maybe you'll send a message to this person. So everything can go either way. It could either be somebody coming in to interact with you, or you taking actions to interact with somebody else. Now, the next card we have out is Coffin. I don't want to freak anybody out here, so hopefully, there's no messages coming to you about any type of deaths or anything serious, but rather than that, because that's usually not what's happening, I feel like this message is coming in from somebody who's probably a past person, right? So this is probably somebody who's coming back from your past, or somebody that you ended things with, or maybe they ended things with you, or something that you thought was long dead and gone and over. I mean, it might be something like way, 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 way out of your spectrum. It's like, typically when we think of people that we've ended things with, we think of like the most recent person, right? Like your last ex, the most recent person that you broke up with. And you're like, oh, it's that person. Sometimes it's not. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've been surprised where, I heard this actually just happened to me this week. Was listening to readings and, I'm a Virgo sun sign, and it was like, there's this past person coming back. And I was thinking it was like the most recent person that like my most recent ex. And it wasn't, it's somebody that, somebody reached out who I hadn't heard from since 2020. So I'm talking 3 years ago. And that person wasn't even on my radar, so just keep that in mind. It may not be the person that you think that it is. It may be somebody like, oh, wow, I totally forgot about that person, so it may be a little bit of surprise. This high honor card could be a clue. So maybe it's somebody on more of a literal sense. It could be somebody that's in the military, or, they work in they're in the service, so to speak. But really this card, this energy has a lot more to do, I feel, with like your moral compass, your value system. This is, it's either somebody who either has, they're very high honor, like they have a good moral compass. They're an upstanding person. They're good quality, a good character. Or this could be you, or this could be basically referring to the type of relationship that maybe you could have. Like it could be referring to the type of relationship that maybe this person who reaches out to you with this message, the type of relationship that they want to have. It's like, maybe they've had a come to Jesus moment in their life if it was a toxic type of person. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just talking out loud here. I'm just, hypothetical, right? Hypothetical situation. Maybe in the past, this person, they didn't make the best life choices. Or maybe they were just a toxic person. And maybe they went through all these changes over the year, and now they're coming back to you, and maybe they got their ish together now. And it's like, hey, this is a high honor. This is a new person. It's like, wow, you really have changed. Your life has changed. I'm impressed, But we'll know more when we get into more of the reading, because everything that falls on the table, all the energy correlates to the other energies on the table, okay? I can't make this up. At the bottom of the deck, we got marriage. So, this could be somebody that, you meet or you reconnect with and it leads to marriage, or maybe for some of you, it could be somebody you were married to before. I don't know, but I get more of an energy of this is somebody that, you either meet them, they're a new person, or you reconnect with them. And it's somebody that you start feeling like, yeah, I could probably marry this person. Or maybe it does lead to marriage, okay? But we're going to find out. So we're going to look at, we're going to jump in and look at your core energies. We're going to get your past, your present, your future. And then we're going to look at your, the most prominent hurdle, obstacle, or challenge that you're facing. And we're going to look at the advice that would solve or resolve that challenge. Okay. So let's take a look at the past energy. That'll give us more insights to maybe some insights and clues to maybe who this person is or what the situation is, et cetera, et cetera. Ooh. Okay, so in the past, we have the renewal card. And the renewal energy, and this is a custom-made deck that I made for myself. It's a Human Innovation Oracle deck. I may or may not sell it in the future. I don't know yet, but it's a prototype. So I'm just throwing that out there. But in this deck that I made, this renewal card is really like going through a rebirth, going through a transformation or a renewal in your life. It could be any area of life, mentally, emotionally, physically, or spiritually. There's some part of you that it's almost like it's like you're going through a rebirth or a revival, but you're not reviving that part of yourself or that situation or whatever it's tied to. You're not reviving it in the same form that it was in before. It's being revived into a new form, right? So, it's kind of like when they do those controlled burns where they go out and, like on the sides of the interstates or the highways, or they go out to the woods and they'll set the woods on fire and they do a controlled burn. They burn all the brush and underbrush down. Some of the trees get burnt up. But then like 6 months or a year later, everything grows back, but it's not out of control. You know what I mean? And so it's like that kind of vibe where there's something that died or, was taken away in a metaphorical sense, especially with this coffin energy. Because like I said, all the energy correlates to everything. So something died in probably the long past. This is like the recent past. So something happened before this, even further back. And whatever that was created this renewal energy in the past. So something was renewed in the past. Let's see what it looks like now in the present. And if it's not you, it could be somebody else. It could be a situation, doesn't have to be a person. It could be a project. It could be literally anything. And obviously this is a relationship reading, so it's most likely you or somebody else or a situation involving somebody else in a romantic sense. Give me the present energy, please. Okay. Yeah. So in the present, we have higher power. So for me, the higher power card is a blend of several things. It's a lot like temperance. It can be like the Lover's card in some cases, but it's really more like if you took temperance, the Judgment card, the World card, and trying to think of those are probably the three major ones. It has a lot of that vibe. So, but all that aside, the higher power is really about your spirituality, your connection to whatever you consider your higher power, God, source, the universe, energy, whatever your belief is. It's your higher power, whatever your belief is basically the highlight or the focus of your present moment. In other words, your higher power is working overtime with you in a very personal way, whether you realize it or not, in the present moment. Now, this could be for some of you also getting reconnected to your spirituality or reconnected to your higher power. So that's kind of like a temperance / hierophant / high priestess energy. You may be feeling more spiritual. You may be getting into more spiritual, esoteric types of things. Maybe you're listening to more tarot readings. Maybe you're paying attention to more synchronicities and things like that. Or maybe you're just starting to feel more guided in a more spiritual or esoteric or eclectic type of way. Maybe you've been paying attention more to a lot of the current astrology happenings, right? We just had a lunar eclipse. We had the last supermoon of the season not too long ago. We just had the 1010 portal. Pluto, I think, just went direct, if I'm not mistaken, which I think it's not going to do again for another 200 years or something. And then, of course, there's there's a lot of other things going on. I don't know all of that. I try to keep up with it, but I'm not an astrologer. But the point is that right now, your higher power is trying to work with you in the present moment. You've gone through a renewal. Your higher power is having an impact or trying to have an impact, or you're trying to connect. It's really these two cards together, the past and the present, really scream like spiritual awakening to me. You're going through a big spiritual awakening, a realization, revelations, just a lot of different spiritual things are influencing you right now. And I think in terms of love, your higher power is working in the present moment to bring this person into your life. And this is probably definitely more of a divine partnership than, say, a casual soulmate, because not everybody incarnates and meets their twin flame. Not everybody has a divine, is meant to partner up with a quote unquote divine soulmate. Some people incarnate and they just meet just a normal soulmate, and they just live a normal life, and that's okay because that's what they incarnated for. Other souls incarnate and they have other types of spiritual missions. There's a purpose. There's something more meaningful and greater for them coming together, not because they're more important than other people, but it's just the purpose of them coming together is more unique and different. Okay. Give me the near future energy, please. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get, I'm almost back to 100% after being sick for what felt like forever. I got sick, I started to get better, and then I had a relapse, and then it just like felt like it's taken forever. Okay, so in the near future, we have influence. So this is telling me that you're going to be influenced or something's influencing you in a very profound way. And I feel that, again, it's implying with the renewal, the higher power, and now the influence is you've gone through some renewal, or maybe your person has. You have reconnected or connected to the divine, or the divine's involved in some way, shape, or form for you or your person. And it's influencing the outcome of your future here. Whatever this renewal is and whatever your higher power is, it's influencing and impacting the, what I get a divine purpose vibe here. It's really what I get. You and this person are going to, it's almost like fated. It's like fate, destiny, serendipity, and fate is bringing you guys together because you guys have something that you guys need to do together. It's really giving me that vibe. Especially with the high honor energy here. And that's kind of why the TikTok and the dive in card is here. It's basically saying, yeah, this was almost like time. It was like time sensitive. It's kind of like, your higher power was working to get you up to speed. It was like working in both of your lives to get you both up to speed at the same time, so that you guys would kind of be at the same place at the same time, physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, geographically. It was like, it's like God, source, the universe, whatever you want to call it, was trying to get you guys on the same wavelength at the same time, so that you guys could come together and be ready at the same time. So, it was all very, divinely orchestrated because it was time sensitive. So what's the major hurdle, obstacle, and challenge here then? I hope that makes sense. There's a very spiritual, and I know this sounds like an oxymoron. I mean, you're watching a tarot reading, right? So it's like, isn't tarot in general spiritual? Well, yeah, it is. I mean, really anything in life has a spiritual component to it. But despite the fact that this is a tarot reading, there's something very spiritual here coming off of this energy. Like this is not your normal Joe Blow Partridge Family relationship. This is a very divine setup. It's definitely got some twin flame-esque type vibes, if you believe in that. So what's the major hurdle, obstacle, and challenge that's here? I mean, I personally do believe that we have twin flames, but it's neither here nor there. I mean, you can still have a spiritual destiny and connection, and a unique relationship that has a divine purpose, whether or not you put a title or label on it. It's really making me shuffle for this. Okay, that was a lot. Okay, so I'm going to keep the two that flipped over, and I'm going to put the rest back. So in the past, we have trauma. So obviously there was something painful or harmful or hurtful in the past, which makes sense because, again, we have the renewal energy. Now, I don't know how far back in the past this trauma is. This could be trauma that predates the relationship. This trauma doesn't have to be caused from an ex or this person. It doesn't have to have anything to do with them. This could have been pre-existing trauma all the way back to childhood, okay? But again, only you guys will know what it is, but there's some type of trauma. And we have the love card. So this card for me, in this deck that I created, is the same as the Lover's card in tarot. So this is a very, very, very strong, committed relationship. Like, this is definitely somebody that you could spend your life and marry. Okay. And so because this was in the hurdle, obstacle, and challenge, it's telling me that there's a lot of trauma regarding love and relationships. So, and at the bottom of the deck, we do have family. I'm noticing that. So that's why I was saying that it could be due to trauma that's non romance or romantically associated. I don't think I'm saying that right. But the point is whether it's, past trauma from past relationships or whether it's childhood trauma or family trauma, whatever. The point is whatever this trauma is that you've had in your life, it's affected your love life. That's what the love card's saying. It's created problems in your relationships. It's created problems in your love life. And your this renewal energy in the past, you've been working through it. We see that your higher power's been trying to help you, but in the near future, I do feel like if it's not resolved, then this energy here is gonna be influencing your future, because it always does. Any unhealed or unresolved trauma that we take with us, right? I remember a quote. Sorry, guys, I should have got a drink before I started this recording. Whatever you don't resolve in this season of your life will follow you into the next. I think that's the saying. And that's really what this is down here. It's like, if you don't take care of this trauma, it's going to keep following you into the next season of your life, or the next season, or the next relationship, or the next whatever. So your near future is going to be influenced by either your connection and healing that you've done, your connection to your higher power, and the healing work that you've done in your past, or it's going to be influenced down here by the trauma that you may still need to work on. And again, if it's not you, it might be your person. So let's take a look at the advice then. Let's see what the specific advice energy is for that, and how that wants to help us determine and show us what this looks like. The energy is very locked, and all the signs, you guys are the, I've done every other zodiac sign, so I'm recording this. You guys are the last bonus reading for the last sign that I've needed to do. And the energy is just like, it's taking a longer time. Usually the cards jump out much quicker. And I'm just noticing and referencing that because I think some of you guys have a lot of locked up energy, which could be tied to that thinking woman card. Male or female doesn't matter. So a lot of you guys may be really stuck in your head or overthinking, and it's keeping a lot of your energy bound. And I feel like that's tied to this trauma energy down there. Okay. So it's just a side point. I'm going to say it because I felt it. So I want to throw it out there. So yeah, the advice is the sixth sense. This is like a high priestess energy. This is about you needing to get out of your head and get into your heart, and start learning to trust yourself, trust your higher power, and really start leaning into your spirituality. there's something called heart-brain coherence that comes to mind. There is an institute out in California called the Heart Math Institute. And the Heart Math Institute, they do all the scientific research around heart-brain coherence. So what that means is our brain or our heart, either one, when it's out of sync or out of balance, we only have access to a certain level of energy or the effects of that energy. Whereas when we get our brain and our hearts to communicate together and harmonize with each other, it's like our energy explodes. Like we become these powerful beings, basically. And they research this from a scientific standpoint. It's not just woo-woo, okay? But there's meditations that you can look up online, and you can obviously watch videos about it online as well, where they describe it much better than I did here. But you can do these meditations, and they're very simple, and you can get your brain and your heart to come into coherence. And that's basically, that opens up your third eye, basically, where our intuition comes from, our sixth sense, basically. And so then we're able to receive downloads and information from the collective, from your higher power. Some people call it the Akashic Records, what have you. But at the very least, your instinct, your intuition is going to be very heightened. So as you move forward, you'll know, because you'll feel it. You'll feel it in your body. And for those of you that feel like the concept of intuition is a little bit vague sometimes, I highly recommend a book by Sonia Choquette called Trust Your Vibes. It's it's actually a newer book of hers, and she's been in this for a long time. Like, she's been into spirituality and training people, on many different levels, how to learn to trust your intuition, how to, kind of connect to God, source of the universe, and all of that. And in her book, Trust Your Vibes, a lot of what she talks about is really intuition manifests as, and it can manifest, in different ways. People get, clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentient, all the different clairs. But for most people, she talks about the first place that intuition happens is usually in your body. It's the first initial reaction that you feel to something. Do you feel drawn towards? Is it a positive, good feeling in your body? Or do you feel resistant? Do you feel gross? Does it feel, gnarly or ugly, right? And there's another test too, I think, online that some of you can try. It's like where you can stand straight up and you can close your eyes and you can ask any question out loud. And if your body naturally wants to fall forward, it's a yes. It means it's a move towards, it's a positive vibe. But if you're being honest and you're doing the exercise correctly, and you're just you're allowing your body to do what it wants to do, your body will have a natural response, a natural reaction. So let's say you ask a question about something and your body wants to fall backwards on its own. And these could be very minimal shifts. Like you just closing your eyes and you start to feel like your body wants to go backwards. That's usually like a no or a no or negative response from your intuition. So those are just a few little ideas I thought I would throw out there for you guys, because the whole concept of intuition can get a little bit woo-woo and ethereal, and so sometimes it's hard to really find some simple, practical, useful knowledge about these things where it's like, okay, well, what does that mean? Like trust my intuition, trust my sixth sense, connect to my higher power. Like, how do I do that in a way that's going to actually help me with this? Because trauma is very real, right? And you're experiencing trauma, that's very real. When you get triggered, shit hits the fan real fast. So the advice is to trust your gut, trust your intuition, connect to your higher powers, like that can be a little bit impractical sometimes, right? So I just was wanting to share that with you guys to give you guys something that you could go check into that might be a helpful tool for this advice energy here. Because again, at the bottom of the deck, we have Fortress. And remember when I was describing a second ago, I was saying it's taking a really long time for the cards to want to come out. And I think there's something to that. There's something relevant to that. There's a reason why the cards are wanting to stay in the deck and not come out naturally and organically. And the Fortress tells me why. Because your energy is constricted, which is a trauma response. We go in and we put ourselves in lockdown, and we put our mind, we overthink, we go into, because our mind is really more like, self-preservation happens in the mind. So our brain becomes the guard of the watchtower. He's the guard holding the gun, and he's up in the watchtower, and he's looking for threats. He's scanning for threats all the time. That's that the brain, the ego, is up there just looking for threats, up at the top of the fortress. The heart's on lockdown, your emotions are on lockdown, your intuition's on lockdown, everything is on lockdown. So, we have this woman who's kind of like a guard, and the guard tower is kind of the deal. And that's what that fortress energy is. And so when your energy is constricted and bound up, then you've basically, there's a lot of negative side effects to that, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, manifestationally, even though that's not a word. But again, with the influence card being here in terms of your future outcome, or your relationships here, it's basically just saying like a few things. It's saying, one, we really got to get out of the ego. Okay. We got to get out of this fortress energy. We got to get out of this trauma energy, which is all of the above. And we got to get connected to our higher power. We got to stay in this renewal energy. And once we're connected to our higher power, the sixth sense, everything opens up. Our energy starts to open up. We start to trust ourselves. And now we're ready to take the risks that lead us into love. We're ready to someone comes into our life. We're willing to take that risk and say, hey, I'm going to get to know this person. I'm not going to be closed down and shut down. And we're opened up, energetically speaking, which allows us to attract the things that we want and not the things that we don't want. All right. So, I'm going to just take a peek underneath. Okay. And I just felt for some reason to take a look at, underneath that card. And the next card underneath the fortress is second chances. So there could be somebody from your past. You thought that was dead. You thought it was over. They may reach out to you. The renewal energy, because remember I said it could be you or somebody else. High honor. It's basically somebody coming in saying, hey, I've changed. I'm not in that toxic person that I used to be. I've changed. I'm a person of new moral character. It's up to you to decide if you believe it or not, or you want anything to do with it or not. But there's second chances here. You're going to have a decision to make. And there's been delays. There's been delays with this, which is also why this TikTok energy was up here and why it says over here, it's time to go for it. It's time to dive in with this card. So things have been on hold. There have been delays because of all these, your trauma, their trauma, both your trauma, and other things that weren't in your control. Maybe your higher power was intervening here. Okay. So I've just felt led to go a couple cards deeper in the bottom because I think Spirit wanted to give you some additional messages there. So I'm going to pull a couple of tarot cards, and then I've got just a few extra cards to pull for the close of the reading here. So what else does Spirit want you guys to know? Let's get 3 cards and a bottom card. Okay, the first card out is we have the Six of Wands, good news, victory, attention, validation. You could be being put on a pedestal. It's really like victory after a long battle. Someone who could have you on a pedestal, or you have a lot of admirers, but it's also in more of like a negative sense. It could be somebody, who's full of themselves. They're on their high horse, but let's see how it ties in. But it could, again, it could just be good news coming in tied to that message energy. The Six of Wands is oftentimes like snail mail. So it's like receiving a letter in the actual mail by the post office, so somebody might actually send you a card, a gift, or handwrite you a letter and they mail it to you. Yeah, and then we got the Page of Pentacles, and pages are messengers. So this is somebody reaching out, somebody coming in, wanting to apologize, or somebody giving you a gift or bringing you something or sending you something tangible. In some cases, it could be somebody younger. It's Earth energy, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn for those of you that, that like to know all of the things. Ooh, yeah. And then we have the Ten of Swords. So this is really, and this is definitely tied to that coffin energy. This is probably somebody from your past. There was a painful ending, and this person has gone through a renewal or a rebirth, or they've come to a realization. They're coming back around, and this is really, I feel, definitely a second chance vibe energy from somebody who really just feels like they had an awakening or a come to Jesus moment since the ending of your relationship with this person. So either you or this person has gone through some type of radical change or shift, or at least they think so. Okay, now whether or not you feel that way when they show up in your life, that'll be up to you to decide and discern. I feel like you're part of the trauma that you have down here, and the challenge position is obviously whatever happened, whatever they did that hurt you. And so, the Sixth Sense energy here with the advice, it has a lot to do with you're really going to have to trust yourself and trust, you're going to have to really trust your intuition and use your intuitive abilities to really decide if you feel like this person has changed at all. And if they have they changed enough for you to give them the second chance that we saw at the bottom of the deck a minute ago? Why? Because at the bottom of the deck, we got the Devil. It's Capricorn energy. And so we got Earth energy there, and we got Earth energy here. So it could be a Capricorn, doesn't have to be. But this is either saying that, you perceive this person as the devil, a toxic person, or the relationship was toxic. This could mean that maybe they are still toxic. Don't know. Not sure. Or, it's just saying that maybe you have a lot of obsessive fear about them when they come back, or maybe they're obsessing over you, or maybe all of the above. Yeah. And then if I was to go a few more underneath that, we have the Ace of Swords. So you're going to see clearly, you're going to see the truth about this, but it's also a card of communication. So somebody is going to reach out to you. Six of Swords. They want to smooth things over. This is coming out of turbulent times. This is, calm after a storm, calm after chaos, and if I go one more, the Nine of Swords. So the Six of Swords is technically on top of the Nine of Swords. So this is somebody who once upon a time, either they themselves or the relationship you had brought you a lot of turmoil, anxiety, stress, sleepless nights. It was just really a toxic situation. So I think a lot of you will know who or what that is when that person shows up. Now, I'm going to pull a couple of closing cards here from this Angel Romance deck, and we'll just see what final messages Spirit has for you. Now that card flew way over there, so we'll get that in just a second. The second card that just came out is True Love. This is the romance of a lifetime. First card that came out is Passion. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. True Love. This is the romance of a lifetime. Let's get one more here. These cards have such a sleek finish on them, especially when it gets cold. So I got my window open, and the cards in my hand are pretty cold. So it's like I can't grip them. Free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life, which is also basically taking responsibility for your own health, your own healing, and just not letting people learning the art of detachment, right? Not letting people influence you or affect you in a way where you give your power away. And at the bottom of the deck, we have engagement. So your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. So what I gather from this, my Aries, is that there's a really, really good possibility that this renewal, the higher power, and all the things that we talked about through this reading, and especially going back to that high honor card, there's a really good chance, and only you will know, there's a really good chance that somebody that you had a falling out with, a painful ending with, a 10 of Swords, something that was once very toxic in whatever way that it was, I feel either you or this person are going to reach out to the other because there's been a massive change. They are not the person that they once were, and they're coming back with this second chance energy, which we saw, and there's a really good chance that this time the relationship might be able to be done right. So the second time might be the charm this time. That's what's showing up here. Whether you're on board with that, whether you choose that, whether you want that, I don't know. Only you guys can make that choice or that decision. But the energy that's showing up is indicating that could very well be the case here. Okay, so the TikTok energy there, the time sensitive, it may just be saying that, you need to really start thinking about, if you're watching this reading, you really need to start thinking about if you want this or not. Because I feel like, because the nature of the way this relationship ended, it's almost like if this person doesn't hear back from you, or there's no response or whatever, they're going to assume that you're not interested and they're going to move on. Or however you want to, or the roles could be reversed. Okay. So it's time sensitive in the sense of, I don't think you can sit on this for a long time and just think and overthink it. I think that you might have like maybe 5 days to a week to respond or contact or reach out to this person if you're really serious about wanting that second chance with them. Even if you're the person giving them the second chance, it's like, I feel like this person is like, they fixed whatever they did, or they leveled up, and they're ready for love and a relationship. So they're coming to you because you would be their first choice. But it's almost like, well, I didn't hear from you, so I just figured you were done with me. I wanted to come back, and I shot my shot, and I didn't hear back from you, so I went out and put myself back out in the dating pool, and I met somebody, right? Like, so it is time sensitive enough to where I do feel like you will need to kind of have clarity around what you think you might do with this potential opportunity. Okay, we have rejoice, embrace your loving connection and rejoice. And we'll get 2 more and we'll close the reading out here. And like I said, if this reading didn't resonate for you, Aries, you can go back. You can watch your October reading. That's good until November. And there's the 1010 portal reading as well. Signs. Watch out for the signs leading you to true love. So yeah, you may already know. Maybe you've seen signs and synchronicities. You've seen their name, driver's license, billboards, songs. You had dreams, seen numbers, all the things. And they're very relevant to you because, you know, your higher power has been trying to tell you, hey, this person's coming. They're coming along. You're going to get that message. So what are you going to do? You know? Deeply. Look deeply within to discover your soul purpose in your relationships. And I think this is spirit just saying, hey, you know, this relationship, even no matter how toxic it was before or whatever shape or form it took before, this relationship really was meant to have a deep purpose. And I think that for those of you that choose this relationship and you move forward and you give it a second chance, you're going to start to see it. You're like, oh, I get it now. This relationship really will, in at some point in the future, it will evolve and become something very profound. And at the bottom, it says, divine soul counterparts, attraction transcends superficiality. So just basically saying that, you know, if your relationship was superficial on any level before, it's not going to be this time. Okay. So my Aries, that's what I have for you. I hope this reading was helpful. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. It's completely free for you. It will greatly help me and my channel. You can hit the bell notification icon and you'll be notified when I go live. And again, and as always, I appreciate all of you and I will see you very soon. Take care of yourselves. And as always, love and light.